Okay.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Take a roll call. Marty, get started too.
Marty Hampensfeld, president.
Alan Staggs, president.
Peggy Hall here.
John Dragas, here.
Randy Boston, president. Ed Hedges, president.
Sharon Cordy, president.
Laura Leroy, present.
It looks like we have a full house. We also have some people in the audience. Is there any public comments?
Yes, sir. I do have one request from Nancy Straw regarding items 7A and 7.
Nancy Straw with Pelican Preserve Community Association. I know I
Excuse me a minute, Laura, could you change this is not Board of Supervisors meetings, this is the PPAC meeting.
Oh,
Right.
Georgia.
Observant.
Thank you.
I'm noticing.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
We have you ready for that?
Yeah.
I think ours looks like rice.
All right, it's coming.
You want me to wait?
No, go ahead.
Nancy Straw with Pelican Preserve Community Association. Having had some conversations with our board president and also with a couple of you, I just would ask that you might want to consider having a workshop or taking more time to review the service level agreement and also the membership on PPAC for a community association board member. I think I've mentioned to you before that we would be very careful about that process and who would be chosen. And I also have heard that there was concern about the community association board member chairing this committee. And I think it would be okay. Faye and I both agreed. It's fine if you want to say that person can never be the chair of this committee because it does carry a little more weight. So I would just encourage you to think about that when they come up on the agenda. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
No.
Approval of the minutes.
I make a recommendation that we open up the minutes and go through it.
Yeah.
Page by page, because there are gaps in page 4, 5, and 7.
For the people.
I have some corrections as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it worthwhile to do that today or should it be reviewed?
No, we can do them today. Mine are minor.
Marty? I mean, is there some, because I went through some of the minutes too. I mean, it's very long. There are some gaps.
Yeah, there are persons that have seconded a motion and their names aren't included. And I just recommend that we look at them here and see if we can identify who that person is.
Some of them I have because I took notes last time. I don't know if you want me to go first with what I have.
Yeah, why don't you make your
Okay.
corrections?
I have a correction on page 2. It's on line 58. It says that,
Can that be put up on our screen
yeah,
or not?
maybe. Right, my first correction is right here on line 58. There were not 2 reimbursements received. There were 2 reimbursement requests received from KW. Makes a big difference. We didn't get them money, we gave them money. So big difference. That was my first correction. Mr. Gepper pointed out that on line 77, we don't have a pond 59, it's pond 56, not pond 59. I am missing some of the information on line 177. This one here, I believe this was Mr. Battleson, then seconded by Mr. Grega, according to my notes. Where's the next one here? Here, line 228. I have Mr. Mantonval was the one who seconded the motion. And that was all the ones that I could fill in. So I'll go back to the beginning.
Can you,
I can't change it on here. I have it in my copy, but there, it's read in, so.
On page 8,
Well, do you want to go back to the beginning and start? Do you want, we can do yours first. That's,
well, this should be pretty easy, but on page 8, Dean Grove's name is mentioned several times. And Dean was neither at the meeting or online. So I presented every one of those regarding the bike lanes and the Benito Drive.
okay. So anywhere it says Dean, it's you.
Correct.
Okay. All right, I made those changes on my copy. Do you want to go back to the beginning? Smarty, sounds like you had some stuff.
Just a motion on page 4, there was a motion on page 5, a motion and a vote on page 7.
The ones that had the blanks. Yeah, I have those.
Yeah.
I have those highlighted. Okay. On page 4, I'm missing the second. I didn't take good notes. You guys were whipping through those really fast and everybody was talking at the same time, so I tried to keep up, but it was a little hard. Okay, that's this one here. I don't know who actually,
Seconded.
yeah, I had a
I
note.
think it was seconded.
I think that was true. It wasn't seconded, so it died.
Yep.
So, okay, there was no second. I remember that. Okay, so the next one I have is actually down here, this one. What's that? I didn't catch who all voted for and against. I know she had that it was 5-1. This
I
was the
voted
one,
yes.
so,
Put my name in there.
voted nay.
Yeah, and then,
okay,
because it was 5-1.
Right.
okay. All right, so that's that one. I took care of the one on this one here. I had that this was Randy. And then the next one is page 7. 7. This one here, I had that, this was Marty. But this one down here, I don't have. This was a vote again. This was a voice vote for purchase of the Kubota. I think Randy, didn't you vote no? You were like, okay, I think in my head, that was what I remembered, but I wanted to make sure before I recorded it. Okay. It's like I could see myself sitting here and you saying no, but I didn't remember if I was remembering that correctly. And I think that fills in all the blanks that I had as far as votes and seconds and motions. So those are done. I had the two changes that I brought up to the minutes themselves. Did anyone else have changes to the minutes, the stuff not in the boxes, besides the 2 items that I already brought up?
Well, the girls.
And the girls one, yes, I have that.
Yep.
Can you go back to the bike lane?
Where is that?
Did that have to do with the painting of the, that had to
That was
do
the
with
striping.
engineering?
Yeah, the engineering. plan.
That was a study, I think.
Yeah, you guys approved that, the $20,000 to,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
did not.
So that was an engineering,
No.
nothing to do with putting the,
Signs or
That-
painting or
that's gonna-
anything.
that's gonna be discussed today. No, it's gonna come up when
The engineering
we
stuff.
get the engineering
Right.
drawings and we find out specifically what needs to be done, including perhaps signage. So at that time, then the district would submit bids and the committee will vote on those bids, I guess.
Correct. Yep. I know there's a lot in here. I can't find it right now. But no, it wasn't to actually do any painting or striping or anything like that. It was strictly to have someone do the engineering to bring the design back and tell us what we needed to do so that we could put it out to bid.
And if I can make a note relative to that, and safety and security, I brought up a letter sent to me, a discussion by a lady named Carol Brenner, who had done took exception to our community newsletter where it said people should ride bikes on the on the bike universal lane. She has a tricycle and she was quite explicit in her email, which I shared with the group, that the state of Florida allows for bicycles to use sidewalks. So we can't mistake that. And it was also mentioned, John, I think they were concerned about trying to get a resolution relative to that. But we can recommend that anyone on bicycle to use the universal lane, and once it becomes officially a bike lane, we use that terminology, but until that time, anyone is allowed to ride bicycles on the sidewalk.
Randy, has anybody verified that?
Yes,
Other than the lady just saying that?
yes.
Okay.
All right, Randy,
There's Florida statutes. I don't remember all the numbers, but I have them. So.
Okay.
all right, I have a question. I ride 12 miles a day. And if I'm making a left turn on, let's say Cypress Road from Pelican Preserve Boulevard, I'm in the left-hand lane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you're moving on.
And I think,
and that's legal.
well, it's supposed to be, if we designate a bike lane, am I gonna have to make the left turn from the bike lane?
No, no,
And
And you don't
there'll be no insurance consequences or anything?
no, and you don't have to ride. You don't have to ride in the bike road.
Oh, I do, well, I do.
The idea behind the whole idea behind that, the safety issue is Pelican Preserve is now built out, so there's more traffic. We are starting to see golf carts that do 30 miles an hour. They have larger wheels and, greater speed. And we've seen electric bikes that do upwards of 28, 30 miles an hour. So the whole idea of the universal lane in the golf cart community, as of 20 years ago, when all the golf carts did 15 miles an hour, was really no longer irrelevant. And so the idea is try to get this established as a bike lane. And see if we can't get people on bikes to stay in that lane and allow the sidewalks to be used by pedestrians and where those are going to run, so they're not in the bike lanes or on the street. And let the regular passenger traffic take the streets.
This is Marty. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as discussed at this meeting as amended.
I'll second that, Peggy Hoff.
Any other comments? Take a vote. Aye.
Aye.
Financial report.
It's like it didn't make it on there. Let's come back to that. My shortcut is gone. Oh, wait, here it is. I don't know why it's not in there. I did it. Honest. Pulling it up right now.
You just finished.
I didn't finish it. No, it's not done. I'll have October and November for you. I'll send them out early next week. I should have the November financials hopefully today or tomorrow at the latest, but I'll email them to you.
Anything of note?
I haven't seen the November financials yet, so I don't know. For October, no. The first month of the year is pretty uneventful, so.
Great, items for discussion. I think items A and B, we can either discuss them in together. And there's been some concern regarding resolution of designating a representative from PTCA on PPAC. I have some concerns.
Well, can I make a suggestion? Items A and B, while they do go together, they are two completely different
agree.
items. So I think if you're gonna discuss them, it's not fair to discuss them together. They are two separate items. One is the agreement that we have for the services to provide over in Pelican Preserve. The other is to have someone from PPC on PPAC. They're two completely separate items. They're not related. So I think I think if you lump them together, you're better off discussing them separately because they're two separate things. So basically, the first one is, what would you like the service provider agreement to be? What are your expectations for what KW or PPCA or whoever their designee is over there for the services for them to provide, the district and them to work together? The second has to do with the PPAC committee. It doesn't have anything to do with the services. It's separate.
All right, did everybody have a chance to go through that service provider agreement?
I did, but I'd
Yes,
like to
ma'am.
go back to what Nancy had recommended to say that this is a big enough change for us that it would behoove us to be very thoughtful and take a long time looking at it and talking these through. And a workshop might be a very good opportunity for us to just sit and be able to have the audience participate.
During workshops, you cannot have audience
You
participation.
can request that they.
They have to be added into the meeting. You can't take public comments during workshops. That's the difference between them and a board meeting or a
Okay.
regular meeting. But if you have the workshop and you request someone from PPCA to attend, then they can speak.
Okay, and that's
Yeah.
what I was getting to there. So I would like to recommend, especially since it's right before the holidays and we're all aching to get to our Christmas parties. That we look at an opportunity, let's say in January, where we could pull together a workshop, invite PPCA, invite Jen, invite, well, Randy, you'll be here. But, we would like to make sure that we've got the voices that worked on these.
Could you clarify which line item you're talking about?
I'm talking about the service provider agreement.
That's a line item.
Okay, so it's separate from the,
Right, but it makes sense that if one created the request for the other, that we would maybe bring them both up during. I mean, that to me, there's no rush to get this done. We're
Well,
operating.
There is a sense of urgency because the district gave them a 90-day notice with the service provider agreement, and the last day that agreement is valid is January 23rd.
what happens if it,
It goes away. We have no more agreement.
And
So
what-
the O&M agreement dissolves on January 23rd. If you don't come up with a solution before then, it doesn't mean that we can't put one in after the fact, but on January 23rd, if there's no new agreement in place, there is no longer an agreement between the district and
if we have a workshop, then we have to have it early in January.
yes.
Like the first week.
How is everybody's schedule?
Back on-
Not a schedule, I mean, most people back.
And what's the availability of staff?
This room has meetings in the afternoon. Well, we're closed Monday because it's New Year's. But this room, I looked it up yesterday. There's a prac meeting in here on Tuesday afternoon. There's a pre-bid meeting on Wednesday afternoon, and on Thursday afternoon, there's a board meeting in here.
Could we do morning?
Yeah, absolutely. We would just need to be done by, if you want to do it right away Tuesday when we get back, you would need to be done by 1:00 because pracs meeting is at 1:30. Tuesday, the pre-bid's at 2:00. You could pretty much have till about 1:45 that day because we could just ask people to wait in the lobby. Let's
On what
see.
day was it?
That would be it's on the 3rd. So on the 1st, you would need to be done by 1. Or the 2nd, I mean, I'm looking at the first day of availability. On the 2nd, you would need to be done by 1.
Second, I have to apply in until the afternoon.
Okay, the 3rd, you would need to be done by, we'll say 1:30, 1:45 at the latest.
The third is what, a Wednesday or?
No, the 3rd is a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
That day works out better for me because I have Tuesday, when we first get back, I have payroll I have to do and everything that day, so
And
it,
that's
and I'm off the whole week in between, so I need like a day to get caught up, so.
important.
Selfishly, I prefer the 3rd, but I will make it work, whatever you guys want to
Well,
do.
let's say I have the architectural control committee.
But that's the same time the other meeting's in here, so you'll be fine. We need to be done before then.
Why do we hold it at?
Well, Marty, the pre-bid meeting is at $1,400 also, so we need to be out of here before then.
10:00 on the third.
I can do a little later, 10:30 or 11.
10:30.
Then when we have to
10:30.
be out of here.
If you do 10:30, you could have it till 1:30, which would give you 3 hours, which I would hope would be enough,
Oh, that'd be more than.
Oh, my, please.
especially because it's over lunch. I'll get angry.
Please.
So you're proposing to table items 7A and 7B to a workshop on Wednesday, January 3rd at 10:30.
Or 11.
I'm just making sure I'm not making the rule. I'm asking the question.
I could do 11. 11 sound better?
Okay, 11.
Let's start at 11.
11 to 1.
Perfect. Thank you.
And can we make sure that we are inviting to be able to speak? The
Yep.
members that you talked
Yep.
about prior. I just want to make sure that anybody who has had a voice in creating.
The people who have been in the meetings for the discussion were John, myself, Chelsea, Jen, Nancy, and Faye.
Okay,
It was the 5 of us.
so if you could make sure all of those are available, that'd be great.
Well, I was gonna say, 2 of them are here now.
That work?
Shane and Nancy, are you?
Works.
Yeah, perfect.
And we'll have a link if for some reason she can't come in person, she can still do remote.
Okay.
I'm putting it on the calendar in here right now, so no one schedules over it.
Thank you. So do we have we need a formal motion to move
To
to continue
postpone
those?
conversation
Yes,
till
please.
after workshop.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, so we'll make a motion to, is it continue then?
When's our
So
next
the
meeting
table-
then in January?
It'll be the 11th.
That would be in time for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, and the board meets again on the 18th, so they would have time to review what you go over during your workshop. Because if you meet on Wednesday, that gives us enough time to get on there. That's the day the agenda items are due for the next board meeting, so that's perfect.
Doesn't the board meet again on January 4th?
Yeah, that's too soon. We can't get on the agenda. We need a week, same as with you guys. It needs to be added ahead of time. So we would have it in time for their meeting on the 18th, which is ahead of the January 23rd expiration date.
Right, thank you.
So the motion is to table the discussion items A and B. And to pick those up at our workshop on January 3rd at 11 o'clock. With all the invitees as well.
So I have Jen, Nancy, and Faye to be invited.
I'll second.
And you guys, I mean, I don't know.
Well, we come automatically. It's a little different for us,
I
yeah.
know. I don't know how formally you need. to-
Yeah, I'll be here, and I'm sure Chelsea will either be in here in person or she'll join remotely.
So is that 10:30 or what?
11.
We said 11.
Thank you.
Peggy made the motion, Marty, you seconded. Is that correct?
No.
You did? Oh, it
Yeah,
was
we
you?
seconded.
Oh, Alan.
No.
Sorry, Alan. I was half listening. I just heard a male voice come from over there.
All right, we have a first and a second. Any
Yep.
other comments? Vote.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
All right, got it.
thank you.
I'm sure Georgia has it too, because I know she's listening.
We can go to item C, D, and E, and be out of here by 3 o'clock.
Illegal.
I don't know.
Well, it's okay with me. I can get something done today. I'll go back and work.
Straight.
All right, item C. Ragaboo parcel. From WCI Communities, comments. Discussion, what is that?
It's just small parcels of land that have to be discussed.
Yeah, there's some of these,
Oh, is that a?
Chelsea's been working hard on cleaning things up. There was a whole list that was given here. Whoops,
I looked at it.
This is a tiny.
This is we're doing this all throughout Gateway. So we found, we'll own like this piece of land and this piece of land, and this little piece right here belongs to someone else. And so we're trying to pick up all those little pieces to make sure that we have continuous coverage of things that we're maintaining.
Sure.
So these just happen to be the pieces that fall within Pelican. Chelsea and Nancy and Faye and I had discussions, and you were 19 and 20 were the 2 items. So those we will not, we will dedicate those to PPCA, but the other 18 items on here, we are proposing that those be turned over to the district. It's, when we do the conveyances, when your new neighborhoods are built, sometimes there's like little pieces of them that get missed, like Prado and Metarita, and when they convey over the utilities, normally all of these things come along, and sometimes we find later that there was like little pieces that get missed. And so we're just
Laura.
asking the missing
Laura.
pieces. Yes.
So I just wanted to let the committee know that the majority of these parcels, especially like the roadway parcels, are still in WCI's name because we most likely still hold the bond for for those parcels. Under our permit criteria manual, when a developer completes a project, and we, the district, accept conveyance of those parcels, once we accept it, it puts it into like a 3-year warranty period. And so a lot of these, specifically the roads and maybe a couple ponds, are still tied back to an open bond that we have in our possession. Some of these others are what we've called straggler pieces. And I know that, like Laura said, that items number 19 and 20 are requested by the community association. And I know that the landscape subcommittee has been working, and Mr. Geppert has been working diligently on continuity of landscaping throughout the community. And I know Nancy mentioned in our meeting that those parcels could be turned over to the master HOA, and then that master HOA could turn around and give the district an easement, a landscape easement. So that way there is that continuity of landscaping services. So as of right now, we're looking for your guys' review. The board tabled this until their January 4th meeting. That way PPCA could review this list. We also provided a very extensive list of other parcels that are within the Pelican community that, by a quick search on the property appraiser, that should probably be conveyed to the master HOA or the individual HOAs. And so that list was provided to Nancy and Faye. And I believe they're reviewing that with the community association's attorney. So ultimately, we're looking for your input. And if you're in agreement with 19 and 20 to be conveyed from WCI to the HOA, we'll seek acceptance of the rest of the list from WCI.
This is Marty. So why wouldn't we approve 1 through 20 and then leave it all in Tony's hands as an attorney? What will be wrong with that?
Then you're recommending that the district accept those parcels from WCI, in which we've heard from the community association, they would like 19 and 20 to be conveyed to them.
But this is Ed. I've looked into a lot of this from the GIS and the land-based perspective, and when the plats were done on these subdivisions, a lot of the parcels, these parcels were dedicated to either CDB or to the community association. 19 and 20 were dedicated to the community association. The deed transfer just hasn't happened. And that's consistent with all the other buffer parcels between the boulevards and the first residential lot and most of the subdivisions. They were dedicated as part of the plat to the community association. And then there was a subsequent deed or transfer of the landscape rights to those parcels to the gateway to maintain the landscaping on those buffers. So by allowing these to ownership of these parcels to go to the community association is consistent with how all the other buffer parcels between the boulevards have transpired within the community and the residential lots. It's a little different when there's ponds and things like that. So
you're saying technically they've already been deeded to the PPCA?
now they've been dedicated as part of the planning process. They haven't been, the deed transfer hasn't occurred to anybody. They're still in WCI name. So to get them in either gateway or community association, there has to be a good claim deed to actually transfer those parcels to the ownership of the parcels.
And for all of them, I would assume there's a cost to maintaining. And so these two particular ones, where would that cost? Who's going to maintain those in the future if they go to the DPCA?
Well, I think that there would be a landscape maintenance transfer to
It's the minute though, right?
No, it's us, it's what Chelsea had brought up, is that if you, and the notes to it, so that it would, the property would belong to PPCA with an easement given to the district, so we could continue to maintain the landscaping.
This is Jen with KW. Can I speak on 19 and 20? They are already on the map that was provided to Ameriscapes with the RFP. And we are already paying to maintain the mowing and the edging and all of that for those two lots. We're also paid probably about, PPCA, I'm sorry. So, sorry. And after Hurricane Ian, we spent about $16,000 for replacements on those two berms, on going into Migliera from Prado.
So nothing changes other than the deed is taken care of and.
We want the paperwork to match the reality.
Thank you.
This is Randy Bottleton. Chelsea mentioned something about the bond,
Yes,
and I'm assuming this is a bond that Pelican Preserve is responsible for.
no, that's the contractor, whoever the contractor that performs the work, and with WCI, it's, they have a bond that they take out to do that work. And until we take full conveyance and accept all of the property, make sure everything is done, that's what the warranty period is for. So we've had some things that have come up on some of the newer neighborhoods. We've made them go back and fix things that aren't done correctly. And the dollars that are held with that bond offset the cost of the repair. So we don't pay to do that. We take that out of their bond. So they give us a pool of, just for ease of calculations, like $100,000. And say we find out there's $30,000 worth of roads that need to get done. So 30,000 is taken away from that bond. So when everything is all done and we're happy and we say, yes, we'll accept it, they only get $70,000 back instead of $100,000. Does that make sense?
Any other comments?
Oh, it's nice to see these things getting identified and.
Chelsea lives on Lipa.
Well,
Looking for a motion to approve line items 1 through 18.
Well, I guess we would
Being
expect,
transferred to the Board of Supervisors.
no, it would be transferred to the district, and then that for 19 and 20 would be to PPCA.
Hold, the motion would be to recommend to the Board of Supervisors to accept items 1 through 18.
So this is Marty. I'll make that motion to, for the Board of Supervisors to accept line items 1 through 18.
Second it.
Any other discussion? Take a vote, all in favor?
For the record, the motion was made by Marty and a second by Ed. I did.
We don't have to
Say
do
my name
anything.
first.
Oh,
We don't have to do anything
No.
then for the 19 and 20.
correct.
Okay. We don't want to leave them. No, they're a straggler.
Drag.
All right, I think we're at item D.
All right, as I'm sure you're aware, we've been working on this for quite a while, and I'm sure Jen's about ready to pull her hair out. You can see that this was, the PO was originally done in April. It is now December. It is still not done. Rock Solid was supposed to start working on this in November. They kept telling us we'll be there Monday, we'll be there Monday, we'll be there Monday. Well, many Mondays have gone by and they have not come through. So staff's recommendation is that we go forward and cancel the purchase order with Rock Solid and move forward with Timo Brothers, who has done quite a bit of work inside of Pelican, and have them go to do the work instead.
Has Rock Solid provided any other information? I mean.
They will not even respond to us at this point. So, yeah, it's.
Not very solid.
It's crickets, so.
Trouble change.
See the notices that said the road would be closed several times.
Yes, they kept telling us. Ours too, ours too.
Here.
They kept telling us we'll be there Monday, and Monday came and went and they didn't come, and we're like, well, maybe they'll come Tuesday, and they didn't, so we would say, hey, and they're like, no, we'll be there Monday, so it
This
was.
is Marty. I'd like to make a motion that we cancel the contract with Rock Solid.
Have you already done that?
No, we were looking for your permission to cancel the purchase order with Rock Solid,
Before
and
we do that, what would be the additional cost to the new company?
you can see that on here.
100.
$9,000, 9,000 additional.
And Daniel's the man who's been working behind the scenes with them.
So we already got the proposal that wasn't our original proposal already 26,000?
Okay, sorry
Not, okay.
to interrupt, because I've got the continuity of after I took over from Jen with this portion.
Give your name.
My name is Daniel Potter. I'm the Public Works Director for the district. I've been working directly with Harry Creasy, the owner of Rock Solid, and there has been no progress made other than words. So went out and I went to the second proposal that was originally solicited, went back to verify their numbers and their timeline, which was Timo Brothers. They came back with an updated proposal, which was a small increase from their original, but overall compared to the original approved from Rock Solid's proposal to the now new current numbers that they will honor for Timo Brothers is about $19,000. So that would be the impact to move forward with Timo Brothers and to cancel with Rock Solid.
So you said 99.
9,000,
You said 19.
sorry, 9,000.
That's right. It's here on the
Yeah,
screen.
Yep. So it originally, Timo's original proposal was at $22,748 and it increased roughly $4,000 to 26,
Pelican did not
343.
And they were unwilling to, they were unwilling to honor that.
No, they were
Less
not.
than a year.
They were not.
And do we have options to go out and look for other potential?
There's,
Oh.
there's only 2 people that I could find out of 5 that I called that will do this type of work. So they won't cut out, they won't cut the valley curbs and they just do patios, most of them. They won't do road work.
Yep.
Papers.
Now, Timo Brothers has got about a 3-month lead time to even do this. So if you move forward with these guys, you're still looking at a lag in time for work to be completed or actually even mobilized to start. The work itself should take about 2 weeks. It's nothing significant to get it completed. It's just getting them out here. Now, if we went back out to the streets and looked for more proposals, you're just going to drag the timeline out. And you may not get any more or better proposals in place in lieu of.
Could we request that they not start until after season? I mean,
We can, I'd have to solidify with them whether they would lock in the prices with us for that.
Well, your 3-month lead time puts you past March, so
You're in April.
well,
You're into April. Yeah.
yeah, April would probably be acceptable. I just don't want to hear the people.
So I really think that this is a waste of money. And we should.
We've already approved it though.
Yeah, we approved at the other price. We approved it at 17,000.
It's strictly cosmetic. And offers no safety or enhancement to the community. It's just a waste of money.
I think you have a couple options. You can cancel the PO and not move forward. You can cancel the PO and move forward with Timo Brothers, or you can show patience with Rock Solid and see if we can still keep going with them or not. 3 options on the table as I see it.
But my guess is that might be part of their strategy is to keep dragging it on so that you do cancel the PO with them, because maybe they just don't want the work or they bid it too lightly to begin with. I totally disagree with Marty, what he just got through saying. And I would like to see us proceed on with the new provider.
Any other comments or questions before you?
There is a motion on the floor.
So, Daniel, did you get any kind of a feedback from, the original folks? I think it was Timo? No, Rock Solid, I'm sorry. Why they can't produce? Are they too small to carry the project without a down payment, or is there something we don't know
No.
about?
The original was trying to get materials on hand. Then the next excuse was calling in locates and not doing the proper locates in a timely fashion. And now to the point where there is no excuse. And myself, Chelsea, have both reached out directly to the owner of the company and have had conversations and have had promises and had no action followed through on his behalf, even to mobilize or even to do any of the MOT. There's no real excuse at this point.
Daniel,
to be-
can I
to be
chime in?
frank. Go ahead.
So during this meeting just now, I attempted to call Harry again, I called him earlier this week, sent him a text message, left him a voicemail. At this point, they're just unresponsive. And there's another option that's on the table. If you want us to try to solicit additional quotes, you can give us, I mean, we have, as the district manager, I have up to $30,000. If we can try to solicit something less than 26,343, of course we can, if you want to give us that authority to do that. Otherwise, this community was promised months ago, these pavers, and it's frustrating, but ultimately we're trying to figure out a path forward, and TIMO was successful. I believe they did the other set of pavers in Pelican. So we're looking for direction from the committee.
Marty, you had a comment regarding your motion. I realize nobody seconded it, but can you discuss why you want to cancel?
Well, I want to cancel the PO for Rock Solid because they're not doing the work and they were unresponsive.
Okay,
That's my reason behind that.
but still continue with getting papers done.
That would be a separate issue.
So John, you have a motion on the table.
My motion is to cancel the PO with Rock Solid because they're unresponsive and not doing the work.
All right, we do not have a second yet. Anyone want a second? Second his motion, anybody?
I want to make sure the project continues. and so-
Yeah.
Canceling the purchase order with Rock Solid will not stop the project. That just simply cancels the purchase order with Rock Solid.
That's my concern.
So you are seconding it or
No,
not?
I'm not gonna second it.
Do we have a second to cancel?
Don't cancel it, means you're waiting.
Well,
Yeah.
do we need to amend the motion to say that we would like
No,
to
it dies
cancel
for the
the,
lack of a second.
yeah.
I'm gonna
I think-
second this. I'm gonna second this motion because I think there's further discussion here.
Well, I was going to say, why don't we cancel the contract with Rock Solid and then authorize the district to move forward with Timo Brothers with the bid at hand? That would have been what
That they
I,
need two separate motions. Then.
Well,
That's fine.
Or you'd have to amend the original motion.
Right.
But you want to amend your original motion to that.
I do not.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor and it has been seconded. Any other comments?
so Peggy's motion has been seconded.
No.
No.
We have not talked about it.
Reese's been seconded.
on the paper.
I second this motion so there can be discussion.
Okay,
I'm fine with moving forward with his motion as long as we have a second motion that would then authorize the Timo contract.
I second that motion.
But I don't
I don't think you.
Motion about the motion.
Yeah,
I mean, you can always make that motion after this.
yeah, okay, let's
That's
go
nothing
to
to
Marty
do.
first.
Okay,
So
voting on canceling.
Laura,
Rock
Yes,
if we vote down their motion, the rest of us vote down that motion, then can she make the second motion
yes,
to
Okay.
versus?
yeah.
If we go along with that motion, then she probably can't make.
No, she can make a motion to accept the proposal from Timo Brothers and move forward. So it's just if you want to do them as two separate or as a single.
But what happens with the Rock Solid?
Depends on how you vote.
We're gonna, yeah. Can we vote with?
I don't know yet. I'll tell you in a minute.
Let's vote on whether or not we cancel.
Right now, they still have an active purchase order.
So let's
So,
vote to cancel. Because it
Well,
was
okay,
seconded.
hold on. There was a motion by Marty,
right.
a
That's-
seconded by, to cancel the purchase order.
Yep, that's what we're gonna vote on.
There is a seconded by John for discussion. So now, John, you call, if there's any additional discussion, if not,
That's what I
call the
asked.
question.
All right, no more discussion?
No.
Take a vote, Marty.
They vote to cancel the contract out of the PO.
I,
I,
Aye.
Aye.
okay,
Motion is passed.
all right, I would like to make a motion to accept the Timo Brothers amended quote and move forward with this proposal.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
When this originally came up weeks ago, I was of the opinion that we should move from Timo to or I'm sorry, from Rock Solid to Timo, until I found out that they took an opportunity to increase the price again. You know, that's really, you know, 5,000 is one thing, but now it's maybe $9,000 difference, really. So doesn't sit well with me.
There's no guarantee that T-Mobile brothers won't increase the price again.
So now keep in mind that their increase was truly only $3,000 or $4,000.
Yes.
But it was 5,000 to start with. So
The difference of the
an increase
two.
of $9,000 looks to me like they just took this
The original
opportunity
was
because they knew we were desperate
Well,
to say,
It's
let's
not-
add 10%.
it was 9,000 over what the Rock Solid offer was, but their original quote was the 22,700.
Which is 5,000.
Right. But that's, maybe they were more accurate in their bidding process. Yeah.
And you're talking, I can't help but think that they took this as an opportunity to increase it again because we're desperate.
Please understand that the original quote, the 22,748 was from last April. So you're looking at something that's 8 months old and you all know that everything has changed. So
And you're talking to the convenient excuse to hear emo every day for everything.
Did they explain why that they had to go a little higher than what they were before? Did they-
Materials and estimate,
Material.
yeah.
Yeah.
The cost of materials. With that though, also understand that the number that's up there for the proposal is a 30-day proposal, so it'll stand, it won't change. So
We got it within 30
we've
days.
got
as long
30
as we
days.
issue the PO,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Any other discussion? So there's been a motion and a second, both,
Nay.
I,
nay. Aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed.
Okay.
Shame on her.
We'll have to put something on Facebook.
Yeah, and social media is coming.
We'll get them.
Item E, Doug, you're up.
I got 2 items here in the ponds report between you and 3 o'clock. So I'm going to get this done as quickly as possible, John.
That's why I was reading back at the same time.
All right. I guess I'll start with the fountain. Since the last time you met, the district and the ponds group has picked up the 3 big fountains in the middle of the ponds. And they haven't been maintained.
That's a downside.
What?
That's a downside.
Well, there are only 3 fountains in ponds. Well, there's the one that the golf course owns. But the 3 that are in the towns are up the road, 2 up the road and 1 that behind the Brockies. They were not maintained ever by a maintenance contract. They were just parts and labor. When something broke, they called someone to come in and fix it, different vendor each time. So we picked it up. The ponds group picked that up. That first thing that happened on a Friday, we picked it up, I think on Thursday. On Friday, we had a complaint and we put a contract in place because it was a safety issue. And we put a contract in place. I worked with Chelsea over the weekend. We put a contract in place to get a vendor to do the maintenance on it, which was $1,500 a year to maintain the 3 fountains. We put that in place and Superior, who does our aeration, did that. They were out there on Tuesday, the following week, and did some stuff that we had a lot of problems, as you can imagine, when it wasn't maintained. The lights on the Brocky Center, behind the Brocky Center, do not work. They hooked 220 up to them instead of 110. When they did some work and burned them out, the wiring, the recommendation of the ponds subcommittee is to fix the lights, which is $2,729 for the parts. And the wiring to fix it's the most prevalent fountain, the one right behind the Brocky Center. Our group recommendation was to fix that and move forward with the quote from Superior of $2,752. I'd like a motion to move forward with that, to do that.
This is Marty,
Yes,
or it's not like this. Does that include the light under the bridge? There's a light on the bridge is fine, the property saying it doesn't work.
I don't know who owns that. That wasn't part of the three fountains that came across.
The bridge and the fountain don't work together.
Is it on the same circuit?
No,
No, all right,
it's not on the same circuit.
not
And,
on the same circuit. Okay.
right,
Doug, does this include the timer?
the timer just had to be some software programming in it.
Well, I would like to make a motion that we accept the agreement and proposal for 275279.
This is Marty, I second that.
Any other discussion? We have a first and second.
Doug, do they relocate the fountain?
Yes.
Move it away from them?
That's what's causing the safety thing.
Yeah.
The mooring had loosened up or broke, and that why it drifted towards the shore.
And the bridge behind the Brocky Center, I believe it's the Community Association, but there's lights in the bridge as well, but John, the maintenance, or doesn't know, since those have never worked that he knows of, so I'm not sure whether the light under the bridge has ever worked either, so. We're still trying to see to sort some of that out,
The
so.
cable is hanging.
Plug it in.
All right,
I'll take my wire.
I'll get going for the next. Oh, yeah,
One thing real quickly, Doug,
yes,
at the community I was at before, and I'm sure that's probably not part of the contract. At Christmas time, they put lenses on those red to green lenses. To give it, yeah, I mean, it's very inexpensive.
we can look, I will look into that, okay?
Yeah.
Well, we're doing a lot of stuff to looking at what are the fountains, the three fountains actually costing us a year. We're doing some analysis of that. But that fountain is the most important fountain. That's right there, visible to all of the community.
Our fountain just costs us about $5,000 a year to run those things.
So,
And, of maybe $6,500 a month. But the lenses, it's nothing big deal, but you might want to, just in case that there's an opportunity to do that.
okay,
All right, any other discussion? You need to final vote?
that's a simple vote. Okay.
That goes another meeting.
Okay, the storm drain, I presented that last time, the storm drains and the cleaning of them. And the fact that we did a inspection to find out, and I had asked for an $80,000, less than $80,000, up to $80,000 to clean all the drains with debris in it. And I think Chelsea said or Laura, one of the two said they didn't want to vote until we actually had a contract. The contract, instead of 80, it came back at 64,800 to do all of the drains, drains with debris in it, 193 drains.
It's an estimate, not a contract, just.
Well, it's a proposal,
Yes, yes, not a contract,
but it's a proposal.
yes,
It's not a contract until I say,
We could still vote it.
yes,
yes.
yes. There, we want an
I-
official, we had requested an official proposal with a price instead of, from the contractor that was gonna do the work.
And that's what we have.
Not that we don't trust Doug's math, but
No, this ain't my math, this is them.
I know.
So this is Marty, you're looking for proposals of not to exceed what dollar?
You can do it 64,800. I mean, that's what it is.
That's a contract.
That's a proposal. Yeah,
All you have to do is accept it.
right.
Yeah.
That's all we have to do is sign it
All
and
you need
accept
is
it.
that amount, 64.
And just so we all know, I'll bring it up again because it's always good when we are able to reduce costs. This was over the next 4 years, this thing that we're getting done for 64,000 would have cost $360,000. Because we were doing $90,000 a year to do a fourth of the drains. We were cleaning storm drains that didn't have any debris in them and paying for it.
Wow.
Okay, so we saved
Good soft cost savings.
about 300,000 over 4 years is pretty good savings.
I'll make a motion to approve the estimate of 64,000.
I'll second that. Any other discussion? On favor?
Good job, Doug.
You're in the meeting.
Oh, and well, I'm gonna embed something in, yeah, we only got 5 minutes, okay.
I got it.
Two things that I wanted to tell you about the erosion. I'm not gonna go through the entire erosion project on the banks of our ponds that right now we're waiting on a report from Tetra Tech on the design, validate the design. And some big bid specs. It's supposed to be to us in this, at the end of December. And I found out today that staff recommends we go to a formal bid versus just get 3 bids, have a formal bid to go through for this. And I will work with staff and Randy and Daniel to get that done. I'll assign a person from our team to work in the workshop or something like that to come up with a way to get that done quickly. So that's just an update. There's nothing needed of you type thing. Go to the last, who's got the charge of the charts? I just want the last chart in my report for the month. There's a pie chart, the very end, other way.
This way?
Yeah, towards the end, the very last page.
Oh,
It's just for
I went to the wrong one. sorry.
trivia pursuit.
There it is.
This is just telling you the problems that come in, where they come in from. The residents and the HOA, about 50% of problems we get come in from the residents and HOA. KW 20%, customer care, which would be Gateway, CDD, is about 25%, and the contractors report about 5%. This is just to tell you problems that are reported in, how do we get them? Okay, and there's a list of the problems over there. Okay, I really don't have anything else unless you do. Oh, the fountain, if someone tells you the fountains on Tree Line and Colonial do not work, the ones out there in the monuments, that's because they've been removed. You know, we had voted on that quite a while ago. We disconnected them. There will be no power expense. I'm finding out what I can do with the pump and the motors that for them, but they're disconnected.
The ones out by.
Right.
Good.
Only on Tree Line.
I don't think anybody really missed.
No one's complained. I have not got a complaint that they aren't working.
I think it was a good idea. It saved a lot of money.
Huh? It saves good money.
Tremendous.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank
Your
you.
diligence, and we appreciate your work.
Yes, very much. All right, we can move on to item 8. It's ponds update.
That was that. We did that. We're on 9.
Yeah, member items and report.
I have a quick thing, just while you're walking up, I can do mine.
Okay.
I have 2 sticky notes here from Georgia. It's all about the same thing. Just a reminder that on our website, and this is for anybody, not just for the committee here. If you go where the agendas are, if you go to the gatewaydistrict.org and scroll down to the agenda dashboard, please enter your email and then follow the prompts to sign up for when the agendas are posted. What'll happen is when Georgia posts those, you'll get an email saying the agenda's been posted, click here and you can go right to it. You manage your own preferences, like you could sign up for the board, you can sign up for as many as you want, and you manage your own subscription to those, so we don't have control over that. So she's requested that you all please do that because she does not send out reminders when things have been posted. So you should get something a week ahead of time when everything's ready that way. If you have any problems, call Georgia.
Jen Lewis with KW. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to see what landscape committee chose for the gatehouse, the front entrance monuments, and this will also carry through to the colonial tree line monuments. So I'll send you the color scheme too. Although Ed did notice, we think there's a mistake on the minutes from the landscape committee. Nancy Smith did recommend scheme number 2, and that's what she told me to send to the ACC committee, which the ACC committee did approve scheme 2. But in the approved minutes, under her motion, it says scheme 4. So we may need to make that correction.
I remember it being 2.
It was
Yeah.
2, and scheme color 4 was the Brocky colors, and it didn't look very good. So I know they wouldn't have chose number 4. So scheme 2, I'm gonna send them around and you can look at them.
Hey, Marty, what color is the bridge is gonna be?
I don't know.
Shop reminders of the we have to set up our own individual. Okay.
I think it's what, you know.
project?
No.
I think so.
I'll keep looking. I mean, I didn't have time for when I saw your email, so between then and now, but we should hopefully get done early enough. I can't have some time to check.
I mean, here,
This is the trim.
it's a trim. So this here would be that color.
This one.
Yeah, that's what they thought. Oh, I thought they have a page, it's better than just making. She can't put that up there. I don't.
That's the top. That's the bottom. And this is the-
Did you guys want to consider, or did you want to move on? Move on. You're still member items in the report.
Other member items to report.
Well, what I would like to say is in the new year, I would like us to make sure that at each meeting, we are going over what we have identified for our ongoing projects. So we make sure that none are falling through the cracks for each of our subcommittees or areas of interest. And to that end, I'd like everybody who is a liaison to a committee to go back to their groups and make sure that we are current with what our big agenda items are and what we need to be tracking.
Yep.
So if you could do that, maybe in January when we come back, when we do date cards. Yes,
Daniel was at the Ponds Group today and he said he's creating that, what you just mentioned, he's creating for each of the subgroups. That's what he said.
Yeah, Daniel Potter's doing that.
okay, yeah, I did send him what we had already.
And he says he's gonna do that.
Okay, it's excellent.
Sorry.
Okay, I'll get back.
It looks nice.
Good job.
Laura,
Yeah.
unassigned reserves. I know Marty's on bridges on unassigned reserves.
Hang on just a minute.
There is way too many people talking at the same time and it keeps cutting out.
Just a minute. I did not get the October financials filled in here yet, or the November and October, but I do have the two transfers that you've requested so far this fiscal year. If you look at your screen, they're already in there. So there's been a total of $80,000 transferred out of your unassigned reserves. I put, which meeting they were approved at, how much it was and what it was for. So I've added that feature to your financials to keep track of them, so I don't have to try to remember what it was.
Do we have a balance?
I don't have that in there yet. I will once I do the financial, once I plug the numbers in, yes. Yes.
We should be in good shape.
Oh, yeah, you have plenty. Yeah, you have plenty. That's, you guys manage your
What's
reserves very well.
Everybody about.
What did I do?
Lots of things.
What's been spinning there with you, the tractor and
The tractor. He's going farming.
Any other items for discussion? Member items?
Yes, I have an important, one to discuss. I intend to resign my position the end of the year, December 31st. To that end, I talked with John Big about it, and Dean Groves, and have also sent an email to Georgia Johnson to circulate. 2.5 years into a 2-year contract term, and I'm a firm believer in terms. I've had 7 former colleagues serve and resign at different times during it. So I feel it's time to. I'd like to turn it over, let somebody else step up.
I'd like to make a comment. Let's hold your reservation until we have to make an announcement for people to join.
Throwing a wrench on that. There has to be a vacancy before we can announce it. So he actually needs to resign in order for us to post the vacancy. I know. Welcome to my life. There needs to be an actual vacancy in order for us to post it.
There will be
So we can't post till after
January
for
1.
everyone.
January.
Because I'm gonna be in the safety and security meetings, the final wrap up on the 28th.
Okay.
So that was the right.
Well, perfect opportunity
Dean
with
Groves will
the
be back.
Community Association.
Well, we really appreciate it, Randy.
Yeah.
Thank you. You've been really nice. Immeasurably helpful.
Yes.
I do have one more thing. I'm sorry, I forgot to write my note down. I was working on it before I came. We are, as a district, because of public records laws, we are giving everybody who serves on any of the committees, like the board has district email addresses. Everyone on the committee is gonna have a district email address as well. I received the list of the email addresses yesterday, so my intention is that after the holidays, after the first of the year, I'll get with you each individually, and then like at the meeting, I'll walk through how you go in and set it up. So they're generic emails. It's like, PPAC chair, PPAC vice chair, and then it's just PPAC member 1, member 2, member 3, member 4. And that way we can keep the emails active, and it would just change whoever sits in those seats. So as long as you're on the committee, you would be like member 5 and you'll be chair. You know, if you switch positions, you would just get a different email address then. But we're doing that for PrAC, for PPAC, for ponds, for landscape, and for safety and security. So everyone will have those. The reason is that puts a layer of security for you as well. One, it allows us to have a record of any transactions that were discussed regarding district business because it's all subject to public records requests. And if you're using your personal email addresses to conduct district business, there is a slim possibility that if someone ever requests those records, you may have to turn over your entire email account, and we would not want your personal stuff to be. I wouldn't want you, because it's all your email, not just that. We're trying to segregate you guys, like the board has their own, where all of the district business is handled through their district emails. And that way, it's like, here's my login, and you can just look at it. You don't need to turn anything over. So it's to help protect you as well. So after the first of the year, I'm working on my instructions right now with pictures and links and everything. And I'll be handing those out after the first of the year.
And I have just one thing to add. John has asked me to address this. In talking with Dean Groves about this transition, he had mentioned that Ed has spent a lot of time working on streetlights and things of that nature, and would very much like him to act as a liaison. And if Ed is willing to do that, John is willing to do that.
Yeah. I go to most of the meetings anyway, so. Probably a good fit.
We don't need a motion. All right,
Do we need to make a motion?
do we need a motion for that?
Dude, no, you can just decide as a group. It's who you appoint as liaisons. That's up to you. So
Okay.
if you're all in
The
agreement,
chairman has done that.
yeah, if the chairman normally appoints it, so unless he objects, I mean, then. Like you said, you're there all the time anyway, so.
Any other member items or reports? Our next meeting is actually going to be a workshop, correct?
Your formal meeting is on here. So the workshop will be items 7A and 7B from this. And then your next meeting is what this is for, the actual meeting, not the workshop. So it's January, was it the 11th? Yep. Is there anything in particular that you would like to have on there?
Bridge update.
I would assume a recap of your workshop. Marty's gonna give a bridge update.
Stay with the inspector, that'd be good.
That would be a question for Daniel. Yep, we can have that. So we'll do a workshop, recap, and then if you have any items that came up during there, I'm assuming there's gonna be some kind of a vote that's gonna need to take place. You can do that at that meeting. We have that on there, and then I'll ask for Daniel to give a update for Bridger. All right.
Any other comments? Any comments from?
And then the project thing you asked for, right, Peggy?
Yes, please. I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn. I second that.
Yes, 3:09.
All in favor?
It's a record. I know.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
I was afraid I was gonna have to kick